jau avietės ant kalno. Aš avietės pakirsiu ir žiedelių surinksiu. Aš avietės pakirsiu ir žiedelių surinksiu. Nu tik, pamažu, žiūrėk, kaip bus gražu. Nu tik, pamažu, žiūrėk, kaip bus gražu.
I don't think that we are afraid of them. We are just looking at them as things, that they are like trash in our way, obstacles, and they have to be dealt with, but not like dangerous, like a wolf or something, some other animals. No, they are not dangerous. They're just things, and they have to be in their own place. Like there is a place for plants, and it's not always in our city parks. It should be somewhere else.
So it turns that sometimes the society introduce some very strict social expectations and rules and norms where somebody do not fit in, but not because of their own choice. This is the thing. So, and also, what does it mean to be normal? How we define normality?
Radvilė Rimgailė-Voicik. I'm a professional botanist. I'm working at Vilnius University Life Sciences Center, and I'm teaching general botany.
Jurga Bučaitė-Vilkė, political sociologist at Vytautas Magnus University.
This is the type of thinking that humans have. We have to give categories just to things that are around us and to give labels, and we cannot learn anything in a different way. So that's why we are doing this, and we won't stop, I think. We will try to compare animals and plants.
That also helps to discover the boundaries of different institutions. For example, what does it mean family? Or what does it mean community, or a school, or a church, or, I don't know, economy, or some other things as well. So this is a very interconnected association of humans.
The main argument always is that they do not have brain, so then they cannot make any decisions. But they are quite successful. If we look around, like here we see plants, and the biomass they produce is very high. So it's probably 80% of all living things on Earth. The biomass is plants. That means that they can, in a long term, they can make very useful decisions. So they can gather the data about the surroundings, and they can make decisions to be very, very successful. So that's probably more important than the fact that they do not have brains. And we are looking at them and thinking, it's a very simple creature. It has no nervous system, but all the senses they have, they are diffused. They do not have eyes, ears, they do not have lungs. They are doing it with their whole body. But how exactly it happens, even on molecular level, what is influenced by what, we cannot say for sure.
Yes, if you are discriminated, if you are in a very dissatisfactory position, you're always in a smaller power position. You are a beggar at some point, because the society requires to fit to some standard, for example. Some basic living standard.
Probably that's the main thing, the main problem, that we do not understand. We do not want to see all those things. I don't know, maybe not only because they are dirty. It's kind of sad to talk about death. I think we usually do not have normal relationship with this thing, what happens when our pet dies. And it's also easier when your plant dies, you just throw it into a trash bin, and that's it. Like when your dog dies, you have all those feelings, but you can mourn for a tree as well.
Saulė žemai nusileidus ant medžių, žibėjo našlaitelė ant rūtelių, darželė rymė. Našlaitelė ant rūtelių, darželė rymė. Rymė dama ant rūtelių, sau viena dėjava, apsakydama vargelus ir nelaimę sau. Apsakydama vargelus ir nelaimę sau.
It's quite hard for me as a botanist to explain exactly what's so scary about the falling tree. But yeah, the tree has to be cut into pieces and removed from that territory. And that's interesting because every fallen tree is an open opportunity for different species, for bigger diversity. And it's very interesting to observe it, to come with your little children and to show how new life emerges. But we just want to clean it and have it tidy, and we want to have a green wall. It should be monotonic, without any obstacles for us to see.
The essence of a society is to be stable, not to be in chaotic situation. Is to stabilize everything. And you can stabilize societies by different means. First, to have legislation and rules, law in general. Then to have court system, well-organized institutions starting from education, very standardized thing. And then going to healthcare, to some economic institutions and some other institutions as well. So everything is in order, and there are very nicely written rules how to become a part. So this is the essence of a society, how to function. And if you ask people around, everybody wants to live in peace. Nobody wants a chaotic life. And so this is the price we are paying for high living standards, high quality of life, high consumption, and safety in general. So this is the price.
Talk about plants not essentially about like food or pharmaceutical plants or weeds that we need to get rid of, but just talk about individuals and how they are, what are the properties of their life and growth, and how they are interesting and different from us.
And then if we look at the question of a society and its boundaries, so we always try to find these organizing principles. And if we look at the modern society, we see that the class system in market economy, in recent political regimes, are about class system. And classes, social classes based on economic resources, mostly. So among those who have everything and among those who does not have everything.
Plants are the problem solvers because they are in this environment and they have to adapt to the environment. They cannot just, well, I will move out of this country. I do not like the situation here. I just move. And then animals, they have the different strategy. Something happened and I just jumped and ran away because I got scared. So I did not solve the situation with the thing that is scary. I just moved to a different location.
These are double choice of people. They want a stable, nice life, but at the same time we feel that we need this interconnectedness, emotional connection, some approval of their values. Because the essence of traditional community is more about the other things that are distinct from a modern society, that is more about friendship, that is more about emotional affection, about some psychological support, about some feelings to each other, about mutual interdependence.
Jūs rūtėjas kaip žalios augdamos krūmenį, o aš vargšė našlaitė, paskendus vargė. O aš vargšė našlaitė, paskendus vargė.
My grandfather, he was Samogitian from Žemaitija region, and I remember from my early childhood that every time he came back in the evening from the forest after they fed their cows and other animals, he would bring me something, like a small nest of a bird that he found in the forest, a mushroom or of a very interesting shape, a moss or something. Like it's every time it was some kind of treasure. Like, look, it's very interesting. Have you seen this before? He would just give it to me to look at it. And then if I would ask anything, then he would say things that, well, maybe it's, but it's maybe it's a very important word.
This is a huge burden to be normal in a society all the time, because there are a lot of expectations how to be normal, starting from your education, your job preferences, your housing, your family thing, how you should look like, even how to dress, what hobbies you should have, how do you spend your weekends, and what do you buy in the shops, a lot of things. And sometimes people are tired because they feel that they cannot establish a very close connection with somebody. So that's why they become a part of some communities. So what gives, maybe in this more traditional community, what gives people a relief, it's that you are needed for somebody. I think this nowadays societies are very multidimensional, people trying to find their own comfortable space between community and between society obligations. Yeah, but the feeling is here about community, yes. We're in the nature, and what I can see that different height of plants, and I think it's quite easy for you to see it as well, and the different shape of leaves. Can you see it? Like we have these narrow leaves here, and then the compound ones down there, and on the surface of the soil we can see also different types of leaves. So probably that's the start when we try to deal with the plant blindness, just to try to see that it's also the meadow is similar to a forest. We have those different heights and different species living on the different levels with a different light intensity coming to them. As a National Geographic a channel, we have this logo, Celebrate Diversity. So as a nature, we are celebrating diversity and we are happy about it, and this is our nature. Yes, actually, we need to have this colorful landscape or colorful picture of a society within like normal groups, if we could say so, and marginalized groups. We always have this. Although we have this very high level economic and technological advancement in all technologies, but humans as a social beings, we have the same needs. Because humans are in groups, we are constructed to be in groups and to learn from each other, to learn from interaction, from to be a part of a socialization, and etc. When we look at the grass, it's more plural for us. The tree, it's like huge chunk, not the best word, of wood, so we can see it and understand it, perceive it as an individual. The grass, not so much, but the problem is the same. Like, we do not know if they are just a colony or is it a separate. And if we go to the bigger scale, if we talk about the forest, it's the same thing.
now we already know that they are sharing not only information but also food between different trees, not between the same species even, via mycorrhizal network. And we know that they are communicating quite well. So maybe the forest is an individual, not a single tree, a single grass in that community. And here we do not have the empirical data to show the relationship.
And it turns to more complex questions about interconnectedness, about who has been recognized and who has not, who has power for decision, who has power for social recognition and who does not, and who can have a high social status and who cannot. Yes, there is always a dominated group, always. As even in the traditional tribes, there was a group of dominated group. In the ages, the elite group have gained more access to resources, to different resources, making decisions, economic, military resources, and etc. And they are dictating their logic for the others, yes. So then we have feudalism based on this oppression things from that time. But it's changing. It could change within the change of political and economic regimes. So we could have different groups in power that comes on the basis of revolutions and changing the perception of a society, who is dominating and who has this recognition and who has power. But in democratic regimes, we have tools how to do that. So we are electing people, some delegates, and we are appointing them some decision-making power. We are saying, we have decided like this, and now this is your power to do things. This is a principle.
Is the forest like a society? Can we call a forest a society or not? And then the question is, who is dominating who in this society? And I said that I think that it's more like democracy, classical democracy, the same thing that we had in Athens, so ancient Rome, when they are making decisions together, somehow similar like a colony of ants. And then we as humans come with our decision-making system, quite different system. And we have all those labels about the species that invaded the territory, and probably we need to cut them off, spray them so that they would disappear, and somehow recreate the same forest that was before the invasion. And we do not really comprehend what exactly that invasive species are doing in those communities, and we are just intervening all the time. And that's really, really bad thing.
Values of a postmodern society and in general of a modernization theory or tendencies, what we see in the Western societies, together with this, as I said, economic and technological advancement and also market economies, the new values were introduced. So it comes together with democratic regimes as well, and more focused on individualization tendency. But it's very wide understanding what does mean individualization. It means that I'm more focused on my personal achievements. Personal, it means. I'm more focused on my self-motivation things. I'm more focused of self-realization. Or thinking about my own expectations rather than community expectations or family or peers' expectations. I'm thinking about my own personal choice, and I'm thinking that this is a relative freedom to make your own choices for life. But what postmodernists, for example, saying that this is a false imagination, that you are part of a society.
I don't know, I think at first we need to have a personal relationship with ourselves and what is happening with our own body. and then we can talk about different forms of life and see them and appreciate them and let them be and let them die the way they have to. And then we can have this connection with other organisms and let them be where they need to be, not to try to dig them out and bring them to their own garden and stuff. So.
Social norms and expectations, they give a burden to person. So I think that this individualization thing, that you are free to do whatever you want and be out of your community, is an illusion in general. And I think that most of the sociologists would agree that you cannot disconnect from a social interaction of a society, and especially from your social cultural context freely. So you're not like you are a kid of your context.
Kad galėčiau ant lapelio baltosle vėliavą surašyčiau sau vargus ir skausmų širdies. Surašyčiau savo vargus ir skausmų širdies. Ir paleisčiau per vėjelį.
We are true animals. We are just running around and escaping the situations that are scary for us. That's just our nature. We cannot change. We do not need to change that. What we can do, sometimes we will just sit near the tree, meditate a little bit. It's very close to our cultural heritage. So that's what we can do, I think.